Hey guys, Captain Rick here, and we're talking about the R&R tackle, and I got my good buddy, the owner of R&R Tackle, Ray Rosher, with me. And you know, Ray, he's second in charge, exactly. Ray, you guys create a whole bunch of different leader systems and different types of leader or monofilament rigs. So why don't we talk a little bit about the standard in the industry is a 25-foot wind-on leader.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot safer way to get a fish boat side for a gaff or a tag or release. It allows you to reach out and leader the fish if you crimp through a swivel, let's say a 300-pound swivel, whatever it is, when you're something that's an adequate strength. Basically allows you to pull the fish by hand for that last 30 feet, but retrieve that loose line. There have been cases where guys have gotten pulled over fishing 30-foot leaders and some sad stories, but that kind of eliminates that problem.
And it eliminates also the novice guy winding the swivel into the tip of the rod, and then now when the fish takes off, it yanks the angler overboard. Yep. We saw Stuart Campbell witness that one time in Madeira, I believe.
Yes, it was.
So, you know, this is the standard. You use a tiger's paws type of connection with the loop-to-loop.
Yep.
But I also noticed that we have some daytime swordfish leaders here, 200 and 250. Why did you feel, what's the difference between these and the others? These are much longer, I assume.
Yeah, they're 150-foot length, and that's for daytime. People use them for two things, really. Daytime sword fishing, we put a floss mark on there so you can hang your weight. And we want 150 feet of distance between the weight and the hook, because when you're fishing 1,800 feet of water, there is no drop back, right? So you got to create some slack line in between that weight and the hook when the fish eats. There's ways to do it where you you get a little nibble, you wind up and then drop back, or you drop down and then wind up. What you're doing is you're just putting a little bend in that 150-foot leader to give them a chance to come back and eat it, have slack. It's like a drop back on a reel, same deal. And other people will use these for top shots. What we've learned with the use of braided line is braid cuts the water so well that you really don't want a whole bunch. You don't want 50-50.
Right.
You know, I've hooked big blue marlin on many occasions, one up in the Mid-Atlantic 500 that had 800 yards of line out, you know, on an 80.
Right.
And chasing that fish down, I had mostly braid, and boy, that braid was cutting the water. It just was that much less resistance on the hook, etc. And that fish really taught me the difference between a long top shot and a short top shot. And that really, really helps. And that's what the guys will do. They'll use these sometimes as a 150-foot top shot. We make those all the way down to 100-pound test.
I see.
So 100, 150, 200, 250, 300. So you've got kind of long wind-ons for different purposes. And we even make one for vertical jigging that's 50 feet long. So let's say you were going to vertical, you know, slow pitch, and you wanted a 30 or 40 or 50-foot leader. We make them 50, 80, and 100 in 50-foot lengths.
And to have the loop for your weight already sewed or created into the leader, to me, that's a lifesaver, because I love to catch swordfish, but it's certainly not something that I do every day. But I do like to try to go out there with Ridge, my son, and we're not experts at it like you've been doing it for a long time. So for me to be able to take one of these leaders, and now all I got to do is add weight and bait, and then again know how to drop it and pull away from it. But the point is, it's difficult enough, and you've made it easy, and that's what R&R Tackle does. And you did mention some vertical jigging. Well, speaking of that, you guys do create some deep drop rigs, and I've used these over in Pulley Ridge with Randy and Chris Trossett, Mike Avenant. Love them. So why were you so compelled to create deep drop rigs?
One of the things that I commercial fished when I was a teenager with Billy Harrison. We did a lot of deep dropping and have done it since then in the Bahamas. And you notice a lot of times these fish are hooked in the corner of the jaw, spinning all the way up, and you spin fish off. How many times have you gotten a string of snappers to the boat and you're missing a few, and by the time you get the fish taken off the hook, there's a couple more floating. So we kind of remedied that by putting a swivel in the eye of the hook.
Yeah.
So now you've got two release points for spinning, one at the main line and one at the hook. And if your main line wraps, the branch line coming off the main line wraps around that main line, well, you've taken away that swivel at the base. So the only solution is to have the swivel at the hook. And that helps you. We did a little experiment. There was a time when we couldn't get the swivel. So one of our pro staffers took an unswiveled rig, identical to the swiveled rig and went to Bimini and fished for 2 days, and it was almost 3 to 1. It was more than 2 to 1 fish to the boat on the swiveled rig. Nothing else was different on the rig. So that was a really incredible test of how important it is not to twist those fish off. Remember, some of those fish twist off deeper and they swim back down. You never knew what happened.
I would imagine also it helps you with not losing your bait on the way down too as you're dropping, because you are dropping some big heavy weights down and you're going down a long way.
Well, your rig actually lasts longer because you're not putting, you've seen deep drop rigs where this last 6 inches, it's just twisted so badly that it's almost, you can't straighten it, right? It's got wrinkles in it. So this helps eliminate some of that torsional stress on that 6-inch piece of leader.
And this piece of plastic?
That's meant to give you, it's like a sabiki. It gives you a little bit more, you know, attraction. It's a good glowworm. You know, remember the old days of the glowworm?
Glows in the dark down there.
Right. So, you know, maybe that with a fish bite and you're good to go.
That sounds like a perfect combo to me.
But that even fish bite and squid, or fish bite and, you know, piece of ballyhoo or whatever. The point is you've got several things to attract the fish to eat that hook, and that's the important part.
So guys, if you have any questions about deep drop rigs or wind on leaders, certainly you can watch this video more than once. You can go to rnrtackle.com or go down to your local dealer. But if you like this video, make sure that you click on the subscribe button and send it to all your buddies and share it as well.